This is Kerrigan & Company. Did you know that more than 90% of cyber attacks can be prevented? Focus Technology helps organizations create a cybersecurity framework to minimize your risk of being attacked. Let Focus Technology's certified team conduct an assessment to determine where the gaps are in your organization, no matter how big or small your company is. Utilizing the industry's best tools, Focus Technology's security operations team will monitor and stop bad actors before it's too late. Contact Focus Technology today at focustsi.com and secure your company's most valuable assets. That's focustsi.com. A&B Burger in Beverly and A&B Kitchen and Bar in Boston are redefining guest expectations of a casual restaurant. Both A&B restaurant locations are focused on hospitality, creative menus, and delicious food and drinks. Now, I've been to both restaurants many times and loved everything I've tried. Get to A&B Burger on Cabot Street in Beverly or head across the street from our studio at the TD Garden to A&B Kitchen and Bar in Boston today and experience the A&B difference yourself. I promise you're going to love it. It's getting hot in here. That's because Ramiro from Hot 96.9 is keeping me company as my co-host on this episode of Kerrigan & Company.
Kerrigan & Company is here for you. Yes, Kerrigan & Company is here for you.
Hey, welcome everybody to Kerrigan & Company. It's brought to you by A&B Burger. Many thanks to our friends over at A&B Burger. If you're coming down to the Garden maybe this week or at some point, be sure you check them out. They have one location right across the street from here at the Garden, another one up in Beverly, and one over by Fenway Park now. So you can catch them no matter what you're doing in the city.
Tremendous burger spot. It's my favorite burger spot. And I've never been there. They're amazing.
All right, you already know who my co-host is today. I'm so happy to have Ramiro Torres from, of course, Hot 96.9. It's great to see you.
I know. It's been a while.
It has been. First off, I have to tell you, to say your name, your first name and your second name, your last name together, for me, seems so strange.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just Ramiro for all of us. You know that, right? All you need is one name. And I mean, I've always wanted to be that person. Just one name. That's it.
When I call to make appointments for the doctor or the dentist, I don't even say Torres. I go, hey, listen, it's Ramiro. Can I do this? I feel like Madonna.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Beyonce. I mean, there's only so many who could just use one name.
No, you know what's funny? Growing up in Everett when I was little, I was one of 3 Ramiros that I knew that lived in Everett, which is crazy because everyone's like, I don't know any Ramiros. Such a unique name. And I'm like, well, there was me, my dad, and a family friend who all had the name growing up. It was like John.
Yeah, right. For you guys, it was John when you were little. Hey, how long in radio?
How long? Oh, I'll tell you right now. So on the radio, I did my first show. I just celebrated June 6, 1995. I just celebrated 29 years. Yeah.
I was going to help you just in case you didn't know. Wow. Look at you.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Look
at you. It's so great. It's so great. And you haven't, the crazy part about your career is that you've been in this major market really essentially the entire time.
Yeah, so June 6th was my first show at Fun 107 in New Bedford, but then at June 28th was my first show in Boston.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that doesn't happen to most people. You know that, right?
I know. And everyone told me that. And have you heard of The Secret? Like
Yes.
Secret law of attraction and stuff like that? I didn't know about it back then, but that's kind of what I was practicing in my head. I was like envisioning it and, saying, well, just because no one's done it yet, I can't do it. And it ended up happening. And then years later, I found out about The Secret, and I'm like, damn, I should have written that book.
I knew about The Secret long before they did.
Yeah.
How long have you done mornings?
I've been doing mornings since October 29th, 2001.
Oh,
I know all the dates. Eventually, I'm going to write a book.
I was going to say, my gosh, that is so impressive.
Yeah.
Mornings are tough.
Mornings are... You need to have a good amount of discipline to do mornings.
You do. Right.
The schedule is just different than anybody else's schedule. If somebody wants to do dinner during the week, and you say, okay, let's go early, and they say, okay, well, I'll get out of work at 5:36. I'm like, no, I'm talking about when the bus with the old people rolls up.
Right. All the blue hairs and you, right? Exactly. I got to tell you, when I worked mornings, and I did it for 9.5 years, and I was spending the entire, well, I did it on television, then I also did morning radio, so I did it longer than that. And you spend your entire life trying to figure out how you're going to get enough sleep to be energetic the next day. You know, it's not like you go to a job in the morning that you can just sit there and stare at the wall.
Right.
You know, you got to get out of bed, and people are looking for you to bring them out of bed. So you got to do that every morning.
I take a nap every day in the afternoon.
Yeah, do you? Are you a napper?
I'm
yeah.
100%. And when I say I nap, I go into the darkest room in my house, and I set a.
Can only do it for so long, right?
Well, it's funny you say that. When I was first doing it, I would go about 20 minutes. I can't do any longer than that. It'll keep me up all night. Now I can do 90 minutes and still get up, and at 7 o'clock I'm yawning. I'm like, I got to go to bed.
Right. Well, that's a time clock. You're on it,
Right.
and that's good. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
You know, I was reading about you. First off, you are a busy, busy guy. I mean, you have obviously this radio shift, and you are the face and the voice of the radio station. But then we go a step further, and you've got a new podcast.
Yep.
And tell everybody the Passion Project, right?
Yep.
Which I love this idea. We were just talking about it off the air, but Ramiro brings people in to talk about, you know, how they've gotten where they've gotten.
Yeah.
Because everybody's road is not the same, and it's usually not straight.
Yeah, I like to talk to people. Who are successful in all different types of fields. You know, even something I don't know about, and hear their story, because a lot of people. Not a lot of people. Everyone has a story if you really break it down. And most stories, especially if you're younger, you think, okay, I go to school, I go to college, I get a job, I work my way up. That is so not it, because that makes it look like this is just what it is.
Right, exactly.
It's not. And usually the most interesting people I know that are successful at what they do have the craziest stories of how they got there.
Absolutely.
You know, and there's a lot of ups and then massive downs and then going and falling back a little bit and working your way back up, and then balancing career with family when it's something you're really passionate about.
Yep.
You know, because I tell it to my kids like this whenever we have interns, and I explain it to them. There's jobs that have overtime. What's overtime? Overtime is we'll pay you to stay extra because we know you don't want to stay extra unless we give you money. And you do it hesitantly, even though you're going to get paid extra. That's a job. A career is nobody's telling you anything about staying extra. You're going in early. You're staying late. You're doing stuff on your own, on the weekends, paying money just to figure out ways to get better at what you're doing because you love it that much and want to get better for yourself.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. I love hearing stories like that because I think, number one, it reminds us all that we're not alone when we've had these moments. People are really good about covering it up. And like you said, just making it look like it was this,
right.
Unbelievable rise to the top. And that's certainly not the case. So love the idea of the podcast. It's great. I wish you the best of luck with it.
I got to get you
very
on.
Exciting. Well, I certainly have had my, my roads off, in different directions. And I've talked to a lot of kids about that because, they want to hear, like you were saying, interns and college kids want to hear about how you get there because I think everybody just thinks one day you get up and you're sitting in front of a camera or whatever the case may be. But about you, you also are a ring announcer.
Yeah, for Combat FC. Baby.
Combat FC.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
So I was contacted by Joe Cavallaro, who runs the promotion. Okay, so let me rewind.
Okay.
So back when UFC was first starting out, before it blew up the way it is now, they did shows predominantly in Connecticut, Foxwoods, Mohegan, or whatever. And they had me. So their big announcer, his name is Bruce Buffer. Michael Buffer, the boxing announcer's brother. Everyone knows, let's get ready to rumble. That's Michael Buffer. Bruce Buffer is, it's time. Everyone knows those guys. So they actually had, outside of Bruce Buffer, I don't know about now, they might have had different announcers, but at the time, I was the only guy not named Bruce Buffer to ring announce a couple of matches on pay-per-views for the UFC. This is when they were first starting out. They just needed any promotion they could get, So I did that, and I've just always been I love martial arts. Yeah. So I've always been involved with it, doing it. Like right now I'm taking a little break, but I'm always going back to doing it and stuff. And I love MMA, and had a lot of friends it's like everything else. It's kind of like an inside thing. Everyone knows each other. So anyway, now Joe, he's starting up Combat FC, and he started asking around about a ring announcer, and people mentioned my name to him, so he hit me up. And
so do you have your own line?
I'm still trying to come up with it. I'm trying.
Yeah, you gotta have a line.
So for the past 2, I've spent money just to get a different looking jacket for my suit to have something that's a little bit different. So I either need somebody who's going to be designing my suits for shout outs, or I'm going to be spending a lot of money until I figure out a line. Because everyone, I've done it twice in a row now, and everyone's always like, I love your jacket, man. Where'd you get it? So if you're a designer out there and you got some good stuff.
Hey, we might know some designers. Let's see if we can find you somebody, right?
I'm a 42 small.
There you go. Send it my way, and I'll let you know if I think it's right.
Yeah.
That's fun, though. I think that's so cool. And there you go. That's something you've been passionate about.
I love it.
And yeah, and
100%.
now who would have ever thought, right?
I look at it this way. As far as like passion, if it's something that you would do for free, like on the side, because you like it so much, that's like a passionate thing, you know? Or it's something that when you're a little kid, you know, little kids pretend to play sports, or they're little, you know, they pretend to be heroes or whatever. That's like, you pretend to be on the radio. You pretend to be on TV. You dance when you're a little kid. Nobody, no offense, but nobody pretends to sell insurance when they're a little kid. You know, I don't see any insurance guys who are like, this was my passion. I've always wanted to call up and say, you need a new policy. Yeah, that's a passion, something that you've always wanted to do.
Yep. You're 100% right. You're right. Listen, I consider you to be a Latino influencer. Okay. And when I say influencer, I don't mean like an influencer like somebody who's on social media all the time, even though I think you do spend a lot of time on social media, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a role model. Do you feel that, and do you carry the weight of that in this city?
Now I'll have people talk to me about how they grew up listening to me, and how now thinking back, I'm like, oh, I guess there really was nobody who was like Hispanic and stuff like that on the radio back when I started out. So I'll have people come up to me and say like, oh my God, it was so cool seeing somebody who was, because I got started so young too, so that's another thing too.
Absolutely.
So it was easy to relate to me. They were like, oh my God, you were young and you were Hispanic like me, so you motivated me to try something that, you know, I never thought I could do before. So now I see it. I wish I could say like when I started out, like I'm gonna do this for everybody. Yeah. But
no,
I was just trying to get better. And
sure, of course, absolutely. But I was thinking about that, and I thought, I'm trying to think of some other role models in that community, and you definitely would pop to the top of my mind. And I just wondered, if there's weight that goes with it, or if you're conscious of it, or if
I try not to put weight on it, just because nobody's perfect.
Well,
if you put weight on yourself to be perfect, I try and do that with my family, and I can't even be perfect with my kids. So, they'll ask me a question, and I'm like, I don't know. Let's look it up.
Right,
so
absolutely.
You try not to. You try and just do your thing, and hopefully people see they see overall, hey, he has a good work ethic. He really loves what he does. Let me take those qualities and try and mimic that.
So you're part of a radio show that is considered to be very, very hip. It's so cool. Now, I just want to tell you, quick story. You guys were, this was when it was jamming, and you guys were looking for somebody, or I don't remember what the circumstances were. Anyway, I came in and spent a couple of days with you guys. My son, my oldest, was in high school at the prep. I'd been on TV for umpteen years here in the marketplace, and this absolutely won him more attention, and he became the coolest kid because his mother was on jamming in the morning. Baby. And he said to this day, he said to me, Mom, you got to tell Ramiro that it was because of him that So tell me what your kids think of it.
Well, it's funny because my older kids at the time, I wouldn't let them listen. And even my younger kids now, I don't let them, because we talk about
some stuff that maybe
we talk about some risque stuff. So I'm actually a good parent. I don't let my own kids listen to me. But I mean, they obviously they hear it from friends and things like that. But to them, that's all they know.
Right,
You know,
exactly. Yeah, Dad's done this forever, so that's who he is. It's what, yeah. Hey, listen, eventually here, I want to talk about some of those stories that you hear on the air. So when we get toward the end of the show, maybe you could share one of your favorite shocking stories. I'm always amazed. I was listening this morning, for example. I'm just amazed at what people will call and say.
You know why? Because we've been on for so long. So it's like they feel like they're just talking to friends.
They do. They totally trust you guys. It is amazing. We do this thing called Focus Technology Fast 5. It's rapid answers.
Okay.
And I've got a couple of questions for you. Are you cool with that?
Absolutely.
Focus Technology is your trusted IT partner for cybersecurity, cloud, and managed services. Are you ready, sir?
No. Oh, wait. Was that one of the questions? No, I'm ready.
Favorite concert you'd ever seen?
Favorite concert I've ever seen? Oh, God, I don't know, because every concert I've been to has been like I've been behind the scenes doing it, not really paying attention, and Dr. Dre at some point. I don't know. I honestly.
I'm going to go back and ask him that again.
I've been to maybe like 2 concerts in the audience. They've all been behind the scenes.
All right. So, what's your favorite genre?
My favorite genre of music? I would say hip hop. I like a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times just because you're on a radio station with hip hop doesn't mean it's your very favorite.
You know what? People might not know this. I love EDM music.
Really?
Love it. Are you kidding me? All the stuff they bring to Big Night. If I could stay up, if I didn't have the bedtime of a toddler, I'd be here in the crowd watching those shows.
Favorite movie you've ever seen?
Favorite movie I've ever seen? I would say Saving Private Ryan, followed closely by Family Man with Nicolas Cage. Fantastic movie.
I love that. That's pretty cool. Tell me, what's the biggest change you've seen in radio since you've started?
Oh my God, social media, digital, and all that stuff. Radio's falling behind. It needs to catch up because they are hurting right now. And they're afraid to try anything because they have no money.
Yeah.
Or they have the money. They're just afraid to spend the money.
And you know what's amazing, though? People listen to the radio. They love the radio. People still love the radio.
Can I tell you, okay, and I've been saying this, we just need to figure out a way to utilize it. The only thing that radio has right now that makes it stick out from everything else is the same as live sports. And even though people can podcast and all that stuff, radio is the one thing that people can experience simultaneously, like a live sports game.
Yep.
Everything else people are watching on their time. You could be on Yellowstone season 1, episode 3, and I've caught up, and we can't discuss it because you're going, don't ruin it for me.
Right. It's why those people call and they say the stuff they say to you.
Yeah, and so we do something funny at 8:30. A good amount of people are catching it at that time.
It's
at the same time. It's beautiful.
I think those kinds of things will never go away. I think they shouldn't.
Yeah.
They shouldn't, because people should be able to do that. Hey, Ramiro, we talked about this when I was on the show. You talked, years ago. You talked to me about CrossFit, and you and your producer were 2 of the first people I ever knew who did CrossFit.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, at that point, nobody, and when you guys were talking about it and you kept calling it CrossFit, I was like, I don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody who's, spent pretty much time, in the gym. So you said you've kind of given that up a little bit?
I haven't given up. I just have given up going to a CrossFit class.
Yeah.
I have my gym in my basement where I still go down there, and I guess I do Ramiro Fit. I just, because I only have a certain amount of time. So in that window, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm either going to do as many of these as I can in this amount of time, or every minute I'm going to do. It's CrossFit without paying the membership fee.
So you're a guy who's worked out all your life. Are you addicted to it, and why do you do it?
Oh my God! Well, you need it. You absolutely need it. I'm 100% addicted to it. It helps with if you don't do it regularly, you don't understand how it helps you and sets you up for everything else in your life.
I do.
The discipline it takes to do that, you bring it to the rest of your day.
Yeah.
If you don't do it all the time, you're like, I'm so exhausted after I do it. No, it actually energizes you for the like I do it first in the morning. I get up at 2 a.m. just so I can get my workout in before anything else, and it's so that I can set myself up for the day. And you got to do hard things. Everybody wants an easy life right now. If you don't, you need to do hard things, because when hard things happen, you're going to be more easily prepared for it.
You're 100% right.
Because you're not going to live a life without any type of difficulties.
You got it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
I started working out of vanity. Now I work out for psychological issues and vanity.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I do the same thing. I'm like, I do it for, psychological, emotional, health overall. but I also want to look sexy.
Right.
Summertime, baby.
I cannot give this up.
Yeah. I just did a fashion show. You think they're going to take me if I look like Mike Wazowski from Monsters, Inc.?
Hey, listen, we got a great guest coming. I'm very excited. Nia Grace, she owns Grace by Nia, and it's a fabulous supper club in the Seaport. There's another one that's just opened down at Foxwoods. It's my favorite restaurant in the city, and she's going to join us next right here on Kerrigan and Company. It's baseball season, so are you headed to Fenway anytime soon? If so, you've got to stop by the newest A&B Burger location at Time Out Market Boston. You can get your favorite burgers at A&B's new quick serve restaurant, which is located at 401 Park Drive. Time Out Market Boston is located in the buzzing Fenway neighborhood, and A&B is the latest and the best restaurant to join this creatively curated dining destination. A trip to Fenway, whether you're headed to a game or maybe you just like the vibe in the area, isn't complete without stopping by A&B Burger at Time Out Market Boston. Head to A&B Burger at Time Out Market Boston's Fenway neighborhood today. You'll be glad you did. Do you know what generative AI is and how your company can ensure employees are more productive? Focus Technology can help you master the use of Microsoft's newest tool, Copilot. This powerful tool can help your team speed up many of their daily tasks by enabling hands-on learning directly with the software. It can summarize long emails, generate drafts of long documents, and search for answers to key questions. Copilot represents a unique opportunity for businesses to accelerate their understanding of what generative AI can deliver for their company. Contact Focus Technology today to learn more at focustsi.com and bring your organization into the AI revolution. That's focustsi.com. I love clothes, but what I really don't love is when I wear something and then I see somebody else wearing the same outfit. That never happens when I shop at All Chic at 152, my favorite boutique located in Marblehead, Massachusetts. At All Chic, you find unique styles handpicked from Europe, Canada, and the U.S. Whether you're looking for a special occasion dress or a casual weekend outfit, you're going to find it at All Chic. Quality, style, and savings. That's the All Chic at 152 mantra, and I can tell you from personal experience, they live up to it. All Chic at 152, located at 152 Washington Street in Marblehead. This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Lucia Lighting and Design, where people in the know go for the best possible lighting and design experience. All right, everybody, it's great to have you here. We're on Kerrigan and Company, of course, brought to us by A&B Burger. We had a great chat, Ramiro and I did, from 96.9, and we got a guest that I think is pretty darn exciting. She just popped in.
Where'd you come from?
This is Nia Grace, and she is the owner of not one, not two, not three, but 4 restaurants. So we have to stay on top of that. 2 of them are Grace by Nia, of course, here in the Seaport, and then down at Foxwoods, which is your brand new one. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You also own Daryl's Corner Bar and Kitchen, which is in the South End, and you also own Underground Cafe, which is over at Northeastern.
Yes.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me, Kim.
Absolutely.
Hey, Ramiro.
Hey, what's up, Grace? We actually had a company holiday party at Grace by Nia. Everyone was raving about. I couldn't make it, but I'm sorry.
It was well, it was after 4. It was after 4
Yeah, it was like
PM,
at 7.
so.
I'm like, I'm snoring at that time.
And it was a great party, but I knew something was missing, Ramiro.
Oh, for sure.
I want to tell you, Nia, I was there. So we had Ed Kane on from Big Night here on, and he was talking about you, and it was amazing because that was the one thing he said before he got started. I do want to speak about Grace by Nia. I said, great, he owns the whole city, and that was what he really wanted to talk about, which was terrific. And about a week later, I got into the restaurant. I went, and it's my favorite restaurant in the city.
Thank you.
I say that unequivocally. It absolutely is.
Mine too. I haven't even been there yet.
Tell me about how that came about and how you thought about this idea of this supper club, and you've done it to a T, by the way. The food's fabulous, the drinks are great, but just the decor is great.
Thank you. Well, to know about Daryl's Corner Bar and Kitchen, right? It's kind of reminiscent of New New Orleans or Louisiana kind of juke joint, right? It's got great comfort food and the live music, and it just feels good. You get the rub kind of going in it. And, that is also from a period of time. And that same period, you had some of the lager establishments, which were supper clubs. And I'm enamored with the age of the supper club in the Midwest and how they were birthed out of, LA as well. And I just liked it because it was a period of time where you can walk in, see everybody, take it slow, have a drink, and take in a show, have a little dinner, do some dancing. You can get it all in one place. And when we started thinking about this idea and taking, what started in the South End and kind of blowing it up, it was us coming right out of COVID, where everything was, you've got 90 minutes, stay away, don't spend a long time here, kind of get in and get out. And then we were also really processing what our time was worth at that time too, right? Yeah. And making sure that every moment that we spent was valuable and meaningful. And so I wanted to create a meaningful spot that all could gather. And, the limitation of the place in South End is that there's only about a few people that we can get in there, about under 100. But here we're able to serve hundreds of people in a space that to me is very, very special to my heart. That's kind of like what if my heart was bleeding on paper, you then get Grace by Nia.
Yeah.
So
it's fantastic.
Thank you.
And it's you're the first black woman to own a restaurant like that in the Seaport.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about that. It is absolutely amazing. And in fact, when Ed was here, that was one of the things he was boasting about. He's very proud of that, and you must be too.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to absolutely be proud about, and then it's something to also continue to reflect on why it was just the first in all of the Seaport's history. I used to work on the Seaport 20 years ago when it was just the boats and a few buildings and lots of parking lots. So a very full circle moment, but it took 20 years to get the first on a place that I'd already considered, a part-time home. So that's interesting for me, but it's definitely a beacon. Like now when you drive down Seaport Boulevard, you literally are tantalized by this giant sign that is a call, I think, for community, for change, for innovation. Like, it's different. And so what they say, it's different here. So that's kind of what it is.
It's turning into a landmark. People are like, you just go by Grace by Nia and then take a left.
100% right.
Yeah, impact
that's
on the
exactly
skyline.
Right.
You're right.
Well, you said that about Daryl's, though. That's what that situation was for you, right? You would see his name up there on the corner, and you thought, wow, this is a name that's somewhere that maybe everybody doesn't look like him.
Yeah. I said, wow, who is this guy? That was kind of the first thing.
Yeah.
And I understood the transition that part of the neighborhood was having from Roxbury to Lower Roxbury to now the New South End. I was like, but I don't know. It just felt interesting that I wanted to know more, and I wanted to know how I could do it. And I felt like he was that beacon. In fact, I was like, well, if you could do this, I know that I could too. But since then, let's just say it's been 10 years since I, saw that first iteration of what Daryl's could have been and what I understood it meant in the city. But 10 years later, almost, we're still less than 2% in terms of ownership in this market of full-service restaurants with liquor licenses, right? We're still less than 2% of 1,500 licenses that are currently available, plus the 205 now that are going to come out.
Be added, right?
So that, to me, is like, oh, that was great, but 10 years later, still just the first on the Seaport, which is really great, but, we got a little bit more work to do.
All right, now let me ask you about that menu.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So I was with, my husband and I were with two other couples. We brought the two other couples, and we were worried that we were going to have to leave because we had to get dinner a little bit earlier, and the bands were trading out and whatever, and your staff was kind enough to let us stay, which was really great. But the menu, oh my gosh, we ordered, between the six of us, we ordered almost every single thing on the menu. Mm-hmm. It is so great. So talk about the menu and where that comes from.
Yeah, so for me, Sunday dinners and holidays were my favorite time. You can get everything that you want on the table at the same time, and you get to share and taste, and that's what I wanted the experience to be like when you walk into Grace. And so that menu is derived from things that I grew up eating, places that I visited that I liked how, certain styles are, like our stuffed collard greens, my nod to a grape leaf, a stuffed grape leaf, right? So I wanted to give you that the soul roots and using ingredients like black-eyed peas or, catfish, although, we're in New England, but catfish is a really great southern fish. And then just do a little bit of a spin on it, right? So we've got our black-eyed pea hummus and, got some catfish bites, but that a little bit more traditional. I just wanted to be able to, in this iteration, show the roots as well as then constantly evolve. And so with this particular menu at Grace by Nia, I don't have to just be beholden to traditional Southern fare that I might have grown up. I'm able to be a little bit more innovative. I am able to work with world-class chefs, at this point, and devising a menu that is going to fit the area and the clientele, but in a good and a fun and a creative way. And then that expands over to the drinks too, working with a great beverage director, Big Night Entertainment Group, Jen Ramos. Me and her are like sister spirits, Found out that we went to the University of Miami together at the same time, had no idea, just the same campus, But we get together and we're making cocktails that, are intentional to the menu and to the flavors to enhance. We are prioritizing the use of Black-owned spirits and wine companies, and so you'll see that all throughout the menu as well. And that, to me, is the next piece of excitement. And I've talked about the menu, right? But the part of that is definitely the side dish of the music.
Sure.
But go ahead.
I have a question. So when you're coming up with a menu, is it you collaborate with other people and they're giving you ideas, or are you like, I want to do this, this, and this? Or is it you do something and then you show your chefs how to do it,
So it's a combination of everything. Usually it's, I've made this, I like this, I want to do this. And so I'm writing everything down first, and I'm doing the treatments to it and how I think it should be served. And then I'll have recipes for some of the things that I've done before, or I'll be like, I think this is going to work, and I'm going to go try it myself. And so I've got a dish, our braised oxtails and coconut grits.
Yeah.
And, something about, when I'm making oxtails traditionally and the heat and the cooling power of the grits, and you can do shrimp and grits, or you could try this oxtail and grits, right? But I had to try it myself first. So I'm in the lab, which is my home kitchen, and I'm working that out. And then, I bring it to the table, and the chefs are also contributing, their experience and knowledge as well as their ideas, because I want it to be something that we're all proud of, right? It's a very large team that takes to make that happen. But it definitely starts with me and my notes. Got long notes, long menus.
I love this about you. I mean, you're from Roxbury.
I am.
You're not from Louisiana.
No.
So where does this come from? Was your family in the South? Where did it all come from?
Yeah, I'm born and raised here, but I've got family that are from Baltimore, Alabama roots. My father's side is Caribbean, and so that whole mosh of makeup for me. But I've just always loved different cultures, and I think that is from the neighborhoods that I've grown up in and the schools that I went to, and I'm just meeting all these different people, and we just mesh well together. And I've always had this spirit of wanting to serve everybody. So when it comes down sometimes to the menus and we're thinking about it, I'm like, well, I want to serve everybody. So I want to make sure that I got something. I don't even know you, but I think I got, a finger on what your tastes are, right? And Ramiro, based off of your culture and your background, I think I got some things that I could do innovatively that would be like, oh, this reminds me a little bit of home, but with Nia's twist. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm always striving for.
I have a logistical question.
Go right.
How do you handle what is your day-to-day like when you're going to doing the restaurant thing? Are you going to all 4 in one day? Or are you saying Tuesday is Grace Day? How's that work?
Well, it depends. Usually my Mondays are, I live and die by Mondays. I start with my operations meetings, and so I'm tapping into each business, and then I'm doing my admin kind of in a stationary place. A lot of times I'll stay uptown because, most of us were closed on Mondays, and then sometimes even Tuesdays, so that's helpful. But the cafe is open on those days, so I'm able to be there live while that's open. And then I start to shift around, and it's like, all right, Wednesday, it would be my days to be at Daryl's and Thursday, and then Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays I'd be at the Seaport. Now with this Foxwoods right into the mix, I find myself Thursday through Sunday I'm in Connecticut, and Monday through Thursday I'm in Boston, straddling it. Right. And sometimes going back and forth, but it's being placed and being present whenever it's needed, and sometimes just expected, and then at the same time it's also trusting the team that you are working with and have stewarded to say that you've got this, right? And if you don't, you'll call, right? But they've got it. They absolutely do.
When you came out of the shoot with this restaurant, did you ever anticipate, because you could not get a reservation at Grace for the first, I think, year and a half, 2 years. Now you're hard pressed, but it's gotten a little bit better. Did you know it would come out that way?
No, I mean, the response was like overwhelming. It might have took me 6 months to actually be able to like really sit and recognize what we were in. I had no idea it was going to be like that, and I couldn't even tell you why, except for I believe in one piece of it, the concept is all-purpose serving, right? Like I think it is able to touch on so many and for so many. So already it at least had that immediate attraction. But then being homegrown, being a woman, being a person who like literally got it out the mud, right? Like that's what we're doing. That's a story that a lot of people can relate to, right? And then the food and the music. I didn't think it was just going to be a hit like this, Where we work hard for stuff and we have like this gradual climb, and it was a blessing,
Well, I'll tell you, the combination for me of the aesthetics of the restaurant, the fact that I looked around and beautiful people were there, people were dressed really well, the music was fantastic, it just, there's so many things about it that are really great. And you had Sincoro.
Yes.
That was good for for my favorite husband. Yeah,
yes.
He liked that as well. So what's Nia mean?
Nia means purpose. Yeah, Swahili for purpose. One of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa.
Okay.
And your parents, they did a good job naming you that.
They did, like Grace on purpose.
You bet.
I have another question. I'm throwing it back. You said you went to University of Miami, you and your friend. Give me some pluses there, because I'm trying to talk one of my daughters into going there. She's about to be a senior in high school. We checked it out in February.
What did you think?
What did I think? I was like, it's February and we're outside in shorts right now. Are you kidding me? I was like, get this, we'll buy a freaking place out here just to get that in-state tuition, and I'll visit the hell out of you.
Yeah. You can do radio
crazy.
from anywhere.
I mean, like 20 plus years, that might be every parent's response to when a child says, hey, I might go to the University of Miami. Perfect weather. Especially like when you come from north.
Absolutely.
But my experience there is probably what has made me so multifaceted right now. I'm forever indebted to the University of Miami experience. And it's a big culture shock, though. I'm coming from Boston, and we are a major city, but it is nothing like Miami. And then the people that are converging on this campus from the different classes and walks of life and all over the world, it just was even more different, right? And I had not necessarily seen that in Boston growing up. That was like my first melting pot experience for real, and actually to be able to see all of it. And then it was that campus. The campus magazine, I saw it, and I was like, okay, that's nice. And then I got there, and I said, this is like the magazine. I thought it was movie magic, right? Like, I thought it was all Photoshop back then, but it was so gorgeous, and that gives you some kind of life as well. And it was safe, and the community programming was amazing in terms of student activities, and the food was good. But the academic programs have only continued to exceed themselves, right? One of the best law schools in the country, one of the best medical school programs in the country, and an amazing engineering department. I study criminology. I've got a lot of great friends who are in business right now and are killing it, right? So I think that between your educational and your, social experience, there's nothing like the University of Miami.
Yes. Yeah. When we went there,
that was a promotion.
I love it.
I might go back to school and go to the university.
I just hosted our vice president of the university for an alumni engagement event. Like, I've got to get you on the list because it feels so good, and it is so much community still.
That's great.
So it's funny because when we went there, they were doing, they do the campus tours where they bring. We got there late for that, so we just went up to a couple of students and said, "Hey, do you want to make some money?" So we gave them $20 each, and they gave us, when I tell you they gave us a tour, they brought us everywhere they weren't supposed to bring us. They brought us into dorm rooms, they brought us into a classroom. So they gave us the real, not the, hey, talk good about the school. They were like, we love this place.
Yeah.
So
that's the way to see it. That's the way to do it. Nia, you are a delight, and I am thrilled that you've been here. Will there be another restaurant?
Yeah, hopefully. Okay. Hopefully a few dozen more.
Oh, there you go. Not just one. You heard it here. There you go. Right. Great to have you. Thank you so much. Continued success.
Thank you.
I don't think you need that. I think it's going to be just perfectly fine.
Oh, thank you so much. Good to be here.
You got to come on Passion Project.
Oh, yeah. Tell me when.
We'll set it up. And then I'm going to hit you up a couple of times and be like, yo, I'm hungry.
I know, exactly. We're facilitating a whole bunch of stuff going on here. This is Kerrigan and Company. Longer days that melt into warm summer nights. It's my favorite time of year. You know, I love to spend time on my patio with family and friends or just curled up in a chair with a good book. However, you can't read or entertain in the dark. That's where my friends at Lucia Lighting and Design come in. Whether you're changing fixtures to enhance the beauty of your property or thinking about safety and security, the experts at Lucia Lighting will help you find the perfect outdoor lighting for you. Get started by scrolling through their website at lucialighting.com and then make an appointment to visit their magnificent showroom located in Lynn, Massachusetts. Comfy, stylish shoes are a must for the summer months. All Chic at 152 in Marblehead just expanded their shoe department. You'll find sandals for day and night, sneakers with a little dazzle, or a dressier shoe for evenings out. Whether you like a flat or a fabulous wedge, All Chic has a big selection at great prices. Hey, and while you're at it, check out their colorful handbags. You'll find crossbody, straw, and tote bags, great for all summer outings. All Chic at 152 in Marblehead, Massachusetts. Take it from me, it's elevated fashion for every budget. That's All Chic at 152.
If you like rum, you're going to love Rumson's Rum, New England's most award-winning rum brand. Rumson creates distinctive and savory flavor profiles by hand-selecting and marrying the finest barrel-aged Caribbean rums. The spirits are then blended and finished in the New England Rum House. Choose from Rumson's Gold, Spiced, Grand Reserve, or Coffee Rum, which is smooth and sweet with a warm roasted coffee flavor, a hint of vanilla, and a decadent buttery finish. Find Rumson's at liquor stores or ask for it at your favorite restaurant. Learn more at rumsons.com. That's rumsons.com. Rumsons. Life lived, life enjoyed.
This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater. Get your tickets to see Fiddler on the Roof, playing now through June the 16th at nmst.org. Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company, brought to us by A&B Burger. Ramiro is with me. He is my co-host today. So, Ramiro, we've got something. You're part of something very special today. So, we have a mystery guest. And my executive producer, Dave Thompson, has set this up. I have absolutely no idea who this person is. You have notes, but don't know what's inside the notes.
I want to play the game, but I'm nervous because I know. I feel it depends on how much cachet do you have, Dave, or is this like a high level, or is this
the highest of levels?
The highest of levels? I can't believe it.
So Dave says that our mystery guest, who's going to be joining us by Zoom, but our mystery guest apparently is with us now.
Okay.
And we can ask 3 questions to try to guess who this is before this person pops up on the screen.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to ask the first question.
Wait. I got a question.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Can we guess? If I guess, that's not one of the questions, right?
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We got to get the rules right.
I know. You're right. You're 100% right.
Ernie Bach. he goes on everything. Hi, Ernie.
Nope, it's not that.
No,
Okay, here we go. All right, my first question is, are you from Boston?
At one point.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ramiro. It's on you now.
Okay. So at one point from Boston. So okay, they grew up in Boston. Right now,
somebody grew up in Boston.
So I'm guessing you're out of state right now. Are you in the entertainment field? By that I mean actor, musician, etc.
No.
Okay. Oh boy,
we got one question left. We got one question left. Can we phone a friend? Okay.
I'm okay. Can I ask one?
Please do. Okay. I have no idea who this is.
Do I know you?
Yes.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, because I was going to guess your boy Gene, but I think that...
No, I don't think it's Gene.
No, because he said he used at one point. Gene's still here.
Yeah, he's still here. All right, is that it? Are we out? Let's put our mystery guest on.
Oh, no way!
Randy Price!
Randy Price!
Randy in your life at one point, Kim. Hey, bro.
Hey, what's up, Randy?
Great to see both of you. And Kim, congratulations on the new podcast. It's, you and I, of course, were partners on TV at one point.
Yes.
But I've seen you in person since then.
Oh,
remember
my goodness.
our wedding party 17 years ago?
Wow, Rand.
And Mark and I got married on our 30th anniversary. So now it's 47 going on 48 years. But that's a long time, of course, because you've been in the media and I've been in the media. I've kept up with you and seen you all this time and heard you all this time. But that was the last time we were eyeball to eyeball.
I cannot believe that. Yeah, we were up in Maine. And, I feel like it was just yesterday, and you look exactly the same.
Thank you too.
Randy, I know you were a big dog guy, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We only, quite shockingly, Ramiro, we only have 2 now. There were times, and probably, Kim, when you were here entertaining the crowd and having a good time, we probably had maybe like 16 dogs or so. We were showing and breeding dogs and got, many crazy chapters over 47 years, and that was one of them. But we have 2 now, Adobe and a Springer Spaniel. Mm-hmm. So life has calmed down a little bit in retirement, and that's a good thing. And those dogs, of course, are spoiled beyond,
I can only imagine. Well, Randy, they raised Cocker Spaniels. Mm-hmm. And so, I have many stories that I will not share with everyone right now, but about Randy and the dogs and having to leave, and, he'd have to leave the set and go up because there'd be issues and come back. And so, but Randy and I had a lot of great years together. It was a lot of fun. And it was so ironic that I'm married to a Randy. And so I'd have to designate my TV Randy versus my at-home Randy.
Yeah, well, we had a fun time working together. Strangely, you and I had the same sort of exit.
Yes, we did.
It was a crazy world, and we made the most of it and had a pretty good time together.
So I tell the story that when we were on Channel 7 together, Randy was dressed by Louis of Boston. So he would be sitting next to me wearing, a $5,000 suit. And I had my youngest, Gracie, and I was in the hospital with the baby. And Randy, between shows, came over to the hospital, was kind enough to come to see the baby. And Gracie was a spitter upper. And he said, "Can I hold her?" And I said, "Sure." I mean, she was 24 hours old. I didn't know she was a spitter. I didn't know her. And I hand her to him. And here he sits in this fabulous suit, and she throws up all over him. And she knows that story to this day. She's now 23, and she knows that story about how she embarrassed me in front of Randy 24 hours into her life.
Thrown up on the best fabrics known to mankind.
That is exactly right. So tell us where you are. Tell everybody what you're doing now.
The town is Bluffton, South Carolina. It's what they call the low country of South Carolina. We're, of course, down at the bottom and along the coast. So familiar areas for New Englanders, Hilton Head Island and Savannah, Georgia, and we're right between the two. It's largely people from, and of course, there are a lot of New Englanders here. It's largely people from somewhere else who, as we have, for climate and, relaxed way of living. And we live in a community where there's, of course, all kinds of fitness and outdoor activities and things like that. So there's plenty to do. There's lots of biking. And when we're not here, we like to travel and see the world. Yeah. So a fun chapter after, 40-something years in the media.
I have a question. Actually, I have two questions, professional and personal. Since you've been out of the media game, has there been a story or something that happened in the news that you said, oh, man, I wish I could have been on to cover this?
No.
Really?
Ramiro, it was so much fun, and it was very engaging for so many years. And I think back to great stories where you felt like you were really doing something for the public, and it was, of course, very fulfilling. But, at a point, you're ready for something different. Again, 40-something years in the business, I did a lot, saw a lot, worked with wonderful people like Kim. But at some point, you're ready to move on and do something different. And of course, as you get older, it's nice to focus on your health and your fitness and seeing things that you wouldn't have the opportunity to do when you have a schedule and you have to get up at a certain hour. I'm like you guys, you know the routine of getting up in the night, and it's nice not to do that.
Okay, now my second question is favorite behind the scenes, nobody knows, slightly embarrassing or extremely embarrassing Kim Carrigan story.
I really can't think of an embarrassing one.
You're lying.
I can't. I mean, we've all had so many embarrassing moments along the way. It's hard to isolate one great one. But no, I really, you know what? I enjoyed working with Kim. I found her Midwestern kind of sensibility to be very refreshing. And, I have nothing but great memories. So not going to embarrass her. Good.
No, I've done that enough of that on my own. I don't need anybody else to help me, that's for sure. I always enjoyed, he's a Southerner, as you obviously can see. And I am from the Midwest, but I knew enough about the South. And Randy would have these slang sayings, that I actually had a great appreciation for. And I think probably the kids that worked around us and whatever had absolutely no idea what you were talking about. But I always loved because I understood, that Southern way. So I would imagine you feel a little more at home where you are now.
Well, as I said, you do have a bit of a Southern experience down here, but most of the people are from somewhere else. So I would say, and since I'm a Southerner, I'm not anti-Southern, but it's a nice balance. Yeah. I really go back to my roots in Louisiana as much as I cherish all the great memories of my childhood and all my relatives who were there. But I really didn't want a Southern experience. I wanted the weather of the South, and I loved the friendliness. Everybody, down here, they call you, it's not Randy, it's Mr. Randy.
So, Rand, do you guys get back this way very often?
I'll get up there every now and then, and in fact, we're going up in September for a week, and we may go up for a short. We had this idea that we live a split life, and it turns out we're not that kind of people. We are gardeners, Kim, you remember we have like endless all over, and so we like to be here for that. And leaving in the summer is a challenging thing because it is so hot down. But we really, we go up, we visit with friends, we largely stay with friends, and then they come and visit with us in the winter. So it's a good back and forth at that level, but we really ended up not having the desire to be up there for the entire summer.
So what is your most fond memory of living up this way?
Yeah, I really love the people of New England. I have, no desire for the weather, but leaving that behind, that texture of humanity up there, and the diversity of the landscape, the beauty of New England was tough. So, I mean, I miss that. I miss camaraderie of work. I don't miss work at all. So, there are a few things that pop out that I really miss about my experience up there. And, we love our friends dearly. And so it's nice always to see them. And now we're actually doing some traveling together with other friends from up there. So we get a good dose of, everybody that we really enjoy, and we try not to wear our welcome with them. So there's so many things. I mean, Kim, being in our line of work, you get a lot of exposure to things, not only all of the challenges that people go through in their lives, but you develop relationships with people because of those challenges. And, at the end of the career, you're doing your most favorite things. You're involved with people's lives. You're involved with their fundraisers and the things that are important to them. Yep. So I do that. You come here, while there are New Englanders here, people are in a totally different mindset. They're here for fun. It's not like the fabric of a town and the fabric of a community and all the things that we experienced in the news industry.
Yeah, absolutely. You keeping an eye on the Celtics?
I keep an eye on everything. I really enjoy, like watching your podcast and listening to it. I have enjoyed catching up with all the friends, and of course, you had Larry Cancro on from the Red Sox. So through you and others, and of course, just keeping up with the papers up that way, we feel like we're still connected.
Yeah.
But
well, I want to tell you something. I never had a mystery guest, but I am so glad that you were my first mystery guest. I think about you a lot. I follow you on social media, so I know when you guys are traveling and when you're out and about, and it looks like life is treating you well, and I couldn't wish that for anyone any more than I would for you. I just want you and Mark to be happy, and I'm so glad that that's how it's working out.
Thank you very much. Tell Randy I said hi. The kids, I can't believe, I remember, as you say, I remember when Grace was born, and oh my gosh, yeah. They're on their way, Kim.
27 and 23.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Hard to believe when I'm only 30. Randy Price, great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. He's so peaceful, isn't it? Like when you can tell when someone's just like retired and enjoying life, their energy's so different.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Oh, we all need a little piece of that. That is for sure.
I need that. Yeah, my energy's frantic all over the place.
Yeah, some of the things he was talking about, you and I were talking about off the air.
Yeah.
That's so ironic.
I'm like, I can't wait to get there.
Yeah. Well, now don't wish your life away, whatever you do. All right, this is Kerrigan & Company. We're going to wrap things up when we come back.
A celebration of life, love, laughter, and Fiddler on the Roof is on stage at Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater now through June 16th. Tickets at nsmt.org.
If you're looking for the latest and best technologies for skincare treatment, look no further than Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly. Sienna offers Botox, fillers, hydrofacials, and anti-aging facials, chemical peels, acne facials, microneedling with radio frequency, laser hair removal, and so much more. The fully certified medical staff at Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly will be with you every step of the way, making the process both educational and relaxing. Book your appointment now at siennaaesthetics.com. That's siennaaesthetics.com. This segment of Kerrigan & Company is brought to you by Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa. Take years off your face with the very latest technologies at Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly. All right, it's time to wrap things up here on Kerrigan & Company, brought to you by A&B Burger. Ramiro from 96.9 has been my co-host. This has been fun. Thank you for being with me for my first mystery guest.
Thanks for having me. That was it's been fun. That was fun with Randy. It was fun with Nia.
I know.
Yeah.
She is something else, isn't she?
Yeah, she's blowing up right now. Big time.
And I see why now. I've met her, and now I get it, right?
She has a good energy. You can just tell people when they walk in a room, you know, what type of energy they have.
Absolutely. I always wrap up by asking my co-host one last question, and this is one I've been thinking about this whole time. So when you're tired of the mornings, what are you finally going to do? What happens?
I don't know, Kim. It's funny. I'm going to get real serious right now.
Yeah.
So I throughout my career have done like a lot of like little TV things here and there and stuff like that. But everything I've always done, I was so passionate about radio that I either said I'll only do it if the base of my tree is still the base. Like I'm not going to change my schedule to do what it is that you want me to do, or I won't do it. I turned down a lot of stuff because I'm like, okay, I can't just because of the radio show. That was always my number one. This year, honestly, was the first time I sat down with my wife and I said, I still love what I do. Still love it. Still have a passion for it. I think this is why I started the podcast. But it's the first time that I started going, what am I going to do next? Like, I feel like I have a lot of good attributes. I just don't know where to put it because I'm not office guy. The thought of sitting in an office in a cubicle makes me, I would be an awful human being. Yeah. So it's just what would be the next. That would be
a waste for you to put your talents in a cubicle. That's for sure.
Yeah. So it's literally, I've been wondering like what would be the thing that I would do next. I know that there's things out there, but just to be something that I love as much as what I'm doing now, it's hard.
I always said that I was limited to my imagination, because there is so much out there that I just don't even know that I could do. And I think the exact same thing about you. There's so much out there and there's such big talents. And when you're ready, you're not ready yet. Like Randy said, you sort of know when you're ready, right? Yep. And whatever. But there's just great things and fun things out there. And challenges that you'll be just as passionate about, I bet.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think everyone always wants something that's easy. I want something that I love doing and that's challenging because it gets you out of bed in the morning. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that exercise and also those small children. They get you out of bed too.
Oh my God. They sure do.
Ramiro, thank you so very much.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Just want to remind everybody that you can hear Ramiro every morning. Well, not every morning, Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
I guess is what I should say. Yep. You do give yourself a little bit of a break, right?
A little bit. Very little. Because I also do the podcast now.
Yes,
so
you do.
You can find that on, I don't know, YouTube or
Spotify or anywhere you get your podcast. Yeah. I was looking it up, and so
my guy puts it up, so I don't even know.
Yeah, I love it.
I just show up and record.
96.9, though, is where you can hear him every morning. You guys have a good time there, and that's good stuff.
We have a great time. I love Pebbles. I love Melissa. I love Leroy. We go in. We have fun every day, just a group of friends. If we talk about the same thing, we're still coming at it from different points of view. Most of the time, we're arguing about something, but, it's like the way friends argue.
Absolutely. It's family.
100%.
It's family.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. So glad you were here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. And thank you for listening and watching. And be sure you check us out wherever you get your podcasts and follow us on social. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Kerrigan & Company. To find out who will keep me company and be my co-host on the next episode, be sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Kerrigan & Company is recorded at the Big Night Studios at the TD Garden in Boston. You can view the podcast on YouTube and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you tell a friend. The executive producer of Kerrigan & Company is David Thompson. Our engineer is Peter Hurley. And our social media managers are Grace Kerrigan, Colby Thompson, and Riley Thompson. See you next time.